What's up? This is Angelo Ferrer, host of the Social Judo with Angelo podcast. And this video is specifically for my students that train at Kajukenbo, Hyogo, Japan Level Up Gym. I mentioned this before, I'm also a martial arts instructor and a Kajukenbo black belt and an MMA coach. Today, this is more particular to my Kajukenbo program that I teach out here in Japan. A lot of disclaimers. A lot of you, some yahoos gonna jump into the comments. I love that. Credit to Rob Rowland from Combat Self-Defense. Some yahoos gonna jump into the comments and say that would never work. Blah 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 blah. All right, it's not for you. Go ahead and stop this video. Watch something else. This is specifically for my students. This is part of the curriculum that was taught by my instructor, and I modified some stuff for things that I picked up along the way. That's the beauty of Kajukenbo, is that we're given the freedom, once we have our black belts, to look at what we were taught, apply it to ourselves, and we can change it a little bit. So that's really what this video is all about. I'm going to be going over club 1 through 6. Normally I might split these videos 1 through 3, but I want to get this all done in one shot for my students. Now, if you're just a passerby, fan of the show, fan of the podcast, maybe you can see something here you like, maybe you see something here you don't like. Seeing things you don't like, you can at least apply something you like, and vice versa. I'll probably do a whole podcast on the difference between self-defense and what I don't like about teaching things the way I'm about to show you, and the difference between principle learning and technical learning techniques. But this is not that video. All right, keeping that in mind, let's get started. I'm here with Saka-san. Say hello to the internet. Say hello. Saka-san speaks Japanese. This will be done. I guess this will be done in English. I might speak a little bit of Japanese here and there. So yeah, keep that in mind. So club number 1. We're going over the assumption that the person's a moron and is not going to change the trajectory of the club. Reasons I hate this kind of learning. But still, there's some stuff that you might be able to apply to this. The guy tries to hit you on the head of the club, I want to get out of the way. So really, step 1, get out of the guy. Guy comes in, I get out of the way. Now from here, what's the best angle to show this? I guess we're going to put you right here. From here, I go into a 4-corner cat stance. My left arm is going to come up, and my right arm is going to come down like this. As you saw, he dropped the club. This is an ideal situation in an ideal world where I supposedly was like Hulk, and I broke his arm. Chances are that's not going to happen. In fact, most likely, I'm probably going to end up coming here, if I didn't get hit in the very beginning, here, and he's not going to drop the club. He's going to hold on to it for dear life, which is fine. Next, I'm going to do a rib strike, bam. And then we're just going to go ahead and do since this is club number 1, we'll do a simple takedown. Grab the t-shirt, step back, and bring him down. Once I have the club right here, I can disarm by putting his elbow on my leg. As you can see, if I went this way, he can hold on. If I go this way, the pressure on his arm makes him let go. Once he's let go, I hit him a few times with the club, and I check guard. So again, without a long description, guy comes in, I get out of the way, double strike, hit to the ribs, and then I grab the t-shirt, take a step back, down, disarm, 1, 2, check, check. For my students, I'm mostly looking for those first 2 steps. You can do any type of takedown you want. Most of my weapons defense is done for advanced students anyway. So for the takedown, as usual, you can do any takedown. You can customize as you go along. Club number 2, guy comes in, I get out of the way on the inside. I'm still going to do the same kind of strike. Down, up. Right hand comes up, down. Ideal world, he drops it. Ideal world, he doesn't drop it, which is fine by me. My left hand is going to sneak under right here. I'm going to sneak it in. Let's take a look at this from this angle right here. This is what I'm doing to his arm right here. See how it's pinned? And I have that hand coming up here. I pretty much locked them all out here. From here, my right hand is going to grab my own hand, kind of like I would. It's kind of I forgot the name of this grip. It's not a gable grip. Either way. I'm going to come in for a grip right here by grabbing my own wrist. My right hand is going to come in for a choke, and I'm going to choke the neck from right here. From here, my takedown, my right leg is going to sweep down here. As you can see, his arm is already kind of hyperextending. I'm going to go off of that motion. So let's go ahead and drag you over here so you can see. His arm's already almost fully extended, so if I keep leaning back, tap if it hurts. See? So I can essentially go back all the way back till I break his arm. And once his arm's gone limp, take it, smack him a few times with his glove, check, and check. Club number 3. One of my least favorites, but arguably, if a guy comes in to hit me over the head, I put my arm up here, and I messed up, and he hits here, and he totally breaks my arm. At least he didn't break my head. That's all I have to say. You're going to do an up block. In an ideal world, I block the arm and not the club. But most likely, he's going to end up hitting my arm. Which is why I don't like this technique. I can say this. But, if I'm going to fall back to something, it's interesting to note, Rickson Gracie was talking about how he defended himself against a guy with a club, and he was showing something very similar with the up block. And he did something very similar. I'd rather hurt my arm than hurt my head. So if there's no other choice, I couldn't close the distance in time, and the guy's gonna hit me in the head, well, at least I blocked it with my arm and not my head. So from here, let's change the angle. I'm going to do an elbow strike here. Once I do my elbow strike, I'm gonna pull the arm in here to this side. Grab the head and do a knee to the stomach here. Once I've had this grip right here, I'm going to come up as if I was going to do a head and arm. So let's change the angle again. I come up here like I'm going to do a head and arm here, and I clinch. My right arm comes in here and sweeps. Now he's down. Once he's down, I disarm the same way as number 1. Elbow, reverse. Here's the elbow. Elbow can bend this way. Elbow can't bend that way. Hit him a few times with the club. Check and check. And that's my version of club number 3. Club number 4. Club number 4, the guy comes in, same concept, X block. Let's do an X block. I have a lot of things to say about this, but I'm going to save it because I want to wrap this up. Once I'm here, I'm going to flower out here to the outside here. Notice there was no fancy takedown. He's already going down to one knee. It really depends on what the opponent does at this point in time. But let's say he doesn't go down to one knee. Let's say he doesn't go down to one knee like he did right there. That's fine. If he doesn't go down one knee, I can always grab his shirt. And notice if he took it, I already took the club, right? So I can hit him in the knees and start smacking him with the club until he is done. And then I can check and check. So again, what am I looking for? I'm mostly looking for my students, I'm mostly looking for that X block at the very beginning here. This little motion here to get rid of the club, and then they can do whatever they want. I see people come in here, kick out the leg, and bring them down, and smack, check, check. But really, I'm just looking for that very beginning motion of an X block, a little twirl, and then a takedown of your choice, or a beat down with the club. So that was done with an X block with my right hand on top. Migi no te ue. The next one's going to be the other way. X block, but hirari no te ue. Guy comes in, I X block here with the left hand on top. With the left hand on top, I come down here, and I'm going to use the very own club to try to hit him in the groin here. Okay? Once I've done that, if he keeps holding on, that's fine. I'm going to grab the club and bring it up here to his neck here. Right? So I'm going strike, strike to the neck, and hitting him down with his own club. Once he's down, I take away the club, I strike, I check, I check. So again, the guy comes in to do the strike, X block, hit to the neck, down, disarm, check, hit, and hit. That's number 5. Number 6. Guy comes in, I close the distance. Some of you grapplers will recognize this next one. Some of you judo guys. Grab the hip, close the distance here. Come on the inside here, grab the hip here. I'm going to step behind him. I'm here, I step behind him and I put my hip to hip. If I put hip to hip, I can pick him up there. I've done this with much bigger guys. Once you have hip to hip, you're just throwing them off balance. And how much you decide to do that is up to you. And I would practice just the hip toss on its own to get good at it, because it's not an easy move to do. But once you have your hip, you use your hip, then you can throw them down. Once they're down, disarm, same concept, because our elbow's here, hand is here. Go against the elbow. Grab the stick, hit them a few times with the club, check, and check. All right, rewind that a few times, look it over again. This is for my students, so I've already shown this in class so that they kind of remember what I showed them in class. And if you like it, comment why you like it. If you don't like it, comment why you don't like it. But don't just comment why you don't like it. Any troll can do that. Get creative. Make a video. I've been telling this to trolls for a long time now. Hey, you don't like what you see? Make a video and share it with everyone. Because I just disclaimed the fact that I don't particularly like a lot of parts of these techniques, but there are things, I always say, maybe this might not work for you. Maybe this will work for a smaller person or a bigger person. Or maybe this won't work for club at all. Maybe you can just take out of this the hip toss, right? You know, there's a hip toss in there. There's defense, there's things you can do that you can apply to other situations, not just club, maybe just an unarmed attacker. And there's moves that you can work on your own in different situations. But again, if you're gonna troll it, really, I'd love for a troll to show a video they made themselves of like, hey, I don't like it, I'd prefer to do this. Because then, rather than just trolling, you're adding to the martial arts community instead of just saying, oh, I don't like it because of this. Talk about why you don't like it, make a video about it. I'll watch it, I'll even like it, I'll subscribe to your channel. Oh, which reminds me, if you like what you saw, or if you didn't, you can still subscribe and troll me, I don't mind. I have plenty of those people. Subscribe, hit like. I release 2 podcasts a month, and I try to come out with at least 1 video every week about martial arts and psychology. Catch you all later.